And today I will discuss one important topic that is about the nature of management we need to discuss. So I'm just sharing my screen now and we'll discuss this topic. Okay. Is my screen visible, guys? Give a thumbs up, please. Perfect. Thank you. So now the nature of management basically consists of some around 18 points, 18 characteristics, which we need to discuss. Okay. So when I'm just talking about this particular topic about nature of management, the first important nature and the characteristics of management is nothing but reaping rich result in economic terms. Now, rich result in economic terms, in terms of we are talking right now, in terms of basically the company's economic achievements. Now, economic achievement we are talking right now, the company's, you could say, profitability, we talk about companies' investments, companies' return on investments, we discuss about companies' valuation. Okay, so when we discuss about the all important companies' financial terminology, which actually terms up, and as we know that companies are always need to focus on their valuations, and that valuations basically will always attract the investor, will attract the, you could say, your customer, in order to, you could say, make the companies more wealthy and nurtured in the future. Second one, the most important characteristics is getting things done through people. As I told you, getting things done through people does not mean that you become lazy. You are giving all the tasks to your subordinates only. It means that you must know the art that how you can actually convince a person, how you can actually, you could say, describe a person, how you can basically inspire a particular person in order to do certain tasks. And it is very, very important role of a manager that how you can be always motivated, how you can make themselves motivated, how you can make themselves very hungry to achieve something. And that is only possible once the leadership style is very, very prompt in order to, you could say, bind people towards company's objectives. Second one, third one is it is a process or process function or an activity. It means that because managing something is not a one-day affair. It is basically a process where the company is and what they want to achieve. It is basically a step-by-step process through which company can achieve something at the last. It means that it is an activity. It's a step-by-step process. It is basically a building block in the company. It's a universal activity. So management basically universal activity, it means that it is not only specific to a particular industry, country, or region. The management activity, management concept, management principles are applicable throughout the world as well. Fifth point, management is basically a science as well as art. It means that when we talk about management activity is based on certain principles that is considered as science. We talk about Fayol's principle, we discuss later on. We'll talk about science, you could say BCG matrices. We'll discuss about Taylor's principle. These are science basically. But in order to implement those particular concepts in reality, that will considered as a art. Management is profession. We know that you are becoming a leader, you are becoming a, we could say, influencer, a guide, a motivator. This sort of activity you have to perform in order to manage something. Okay. Achieve predetermined objective. As you know that, because each and every company, whenever they are setting up anything in the organization, you always need to keep in mind that how these organizations are basically keeping themselves, you could say, ready in order to achieve the vision and the mission of the company. It's a group activity because managing something and achieving something in the organization is not a particular one person activity. It is a collective effort of all the individuals working in the organization. Next one, we have system of authority. It means that whenever we are talking about the line, staff, and structure of the company, these structure of the company are basically consists with some authority and responsibility. Means each and every individual is somehow accountable to the company's, you could say, company's success. And definitely this success is only possible when each and every person in the company will understand their responsibility, understand their, you could say, answerability, and based on their authority, they always need to use their power in the right direction to actually getting things done through your subordinates. Next one, we have decision making. I think it's very simple because somehow management concept, management principle helping the individuals helping the organization in order to take the prompt decisions for the organization. Decision making in terms of tough time, decision making in terms of taking some crucial initiative in the company to turn the fate, to turn the fortune of the company in the long run. Good leadership we discussed already. Dynamic, not static, because as we know that management is basically an ongoing process. It's a continuous process. And we need to identify that whenever we talk about the management activity, it is basically an activity of daily basis. It's not like we have done for the day, means we are actually using the same activity, same tactics for next 5 days, next 10 days. You have to come up with some innovative changes, some, you could say you have to think continuously. You have to, we can say, study a lot on the concept, on the problems, and you need to observe. So that is basically called a dynamic activity. It is not a one-day affair. It is not a static affair. Okay. Draw idea and concept from various disciplines, because management is not only applicable in marketing, not only applicable in HR. It is basically applicable pervasively, means management is basically a certain activity or certain discipline, which is basically more concerned with the all the discipline in the company. Goal oriented we discuss as well, because somehow we need to understand, we need to keep in mind that the management activity is goal oriented, means we need to understand about the company's short term goal, long term goal. We need to, you could say, understand about the company's, you could say, a vision, company's mission, company's targets. And according to that, you need to work in the direction only. Okay. Next one, we have level of management. As we know that, because yesterday or day for yesterday, we discussed about the levels of management: top level, middle level, and you could say frontline manager. Okay. Or you can say a lower level staff as well. Each and every level, there is certain sort of, you could say, management activity you need to perform. Okay. The level of management activity, the extent of management activity, the extent of decision making varies in this particular regards. Needs of organization we already know about, because without management, you cannot be directional. You cannot be, you could say, systematic in terms of your approach to achieve something in the organization. Management need not be honors. It means that it is not the responsibility of the owner to manage everything. It is responsibility of each and every single employee as well to take some decision in the favor of the company, which will actually give some positive outcome to the company in the long run. And last one is intangible in nature, because it is basically more about the skill set, more about the knowledge, more about the power, how the companies are basically managing the activities of the organization. That is basically all the 18 points which comes under management nature. Okay. Then we have the management emerging profession. Okay. As you know that profession in terms of, because being a manager in the company, it is not at all an easy task. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be competent, skillful. Your temperament should be very fantastic. You must have sufficient level of experience to deal with some situation in the company. It is a professional body. Self-control is very important, because somehow you must know where to control, how much to control, how to control. Okay. Because controlling is basically one of the most important mechanisms which make a particular individual more, we can say, better version what they were before. Social responsibility is very important, that because working in the company, you always need to keep in mind that you have certain responsibility towards achieving something in the organization. Leadership we discussed already. And community approval. Community approval means, for example, let us suppose if you have been appointed as a manager of a company, each and everyone should be happily accepting you as a manager, happily accepting you as an authoritarian person in the company. That is called community approval. So if you want to enter into the profession of management, definitely these sort of, you could say, quality and skills you must need to possess. That is about the management emerging profession. Point number 17 I have to explain, that is management need not be honors. It means that each and every time the owner is only not the responsible authority who will manage the company. Okay, owner will take some decision, and those decisions you need to implement that. And that implementation responsibility is maybe for the lower, you could say, middle level manager, or for the lower level manager as well. So it is not only the top management responsible for managing everything, or owners are responsible for managing everything. You have to understand your responsibility. And you have to understand your role and responsibility. You need to understand what exactly the position or the purpose behind hiring you. Okay, Vishwaji. Yes, definitely, Chetan. Yes. Point number 18. Okay. Point number 18 is intangible, because definitely all these activities based on personal skills, knowledge, experiment, temperament. Okay. So definitely that's the reason it is intangible in nature. You cannot show that this is the management skills I have. No, it is basically all comes by your implementation, and ultimately these things will be visible in terms of companies' goals in the long run, or companies' targets achievement in the long run. Yes, definitely. See, ultimate decision definitely taken by top management only, and responsibility is being set by the company in the long run. Always do remember, guys. Okay, everyone. See, they give proposal, but it does not mean that they are not responsible. Okay. See, there is basically a certain extent of responsibility because you see, every person in the company is answerable for something at the end of the day. Okay. For example, if I'm working as a manager in the company, I'm answerable for you could say up to an extent. Okay. So your answerability, you are responsible for something definitely at the end of the day. Okay. Whether you have achieved, whether you not have achieved, and that's the reason the company will trust only those, because it's all about matter of confidentiality. It's all about matter of how you are considering firm as an employee, or as a particular, you could say, important part of the company. Those who are always contributing, those who are actually giving their 100% in order to achieve the goal of the company or vision of the company in the long run. Rahul. Definitely, yes. Because see, if the goals are not clear, if the things are very, you could say, gloomy, if the things are, you could say, very cloudy, definitely things would be very difficult, because no one knows that what they want to achieve at the end of the day. So, target should be very, very clear in the mind. The purpose of hiring a particular person should be very, very clear. Okay, then only you would be able to analyze the, you could say, real value of the particular person in the organization. And that answerability, that we can say responsibility should be very, very thoroughly clear. Done, guys? I think. Yes, definitely. Definitely, Vishwajit. See, mistake is done, definitely that person is answerable. And if you are repeating the mistake, definitely company may fire you as well. See, answerable is everyone. Try to understand, please. Because ultimately you are answerable to top management only. Because they are the owner. They have all the rights to do so. See, dynamic is basically nothing but ongoing activity. Means you need to understand the market changes, you need to understand market environment, and according to that, you need to change your strategies. Static means basically you are keeping the things not at all linked with the markets. But as we know that if we are working in the market, we need to understand that how the things would be actually implemented, how the things would be actually related, what market changes are implemented. According to market changes, definitely you need to, you could say, implement or change your strategies in the long run. Yes, decisions are made by them only. But answerability is always there at different levels of department. If you're hiring a regional manager, if you're hiring an associate manager, if you're hiring a, you could say, quality manager, they all are answerable in the company for the role responsibility which is being assigned by the top management. Yes, Rahul. Yes, made by them. Rahul, you can raise your hand, please. Decisions are made by them only. But if a particular employee who is not performing for long run, company may need to find out for replacements. Yes, Rahul.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Rahul. Go ahead.
Sir, what my concern is, I am just asking you that if the decisions are made by the top level management, okay, and sir, the persons who are responsible for executing those decisions are only the mid level and the lower level management. So why they are answerable? The answerable person should be the top level management, right?
Okay.
Because they are only doing what the top management is asking to them to do. So, sir, if there is a mistake in the decision itself, sir, why they are answerable?
See, Rahul, try to understand. Let us suppose you opened your own company and you are the owner of the company. Means you're top management. Okay. And you are hiring one accountant for your reception. Okay. And for example, receptioner or receptionist basically will commit some mistake and you suffered a loss of 1 lakh rupees on a particular day. They made a mistake in transactions. Okay. For example, definitely mistake is committed by your receptionist or your accountant. So who will be answerable for this mistake? Top management or accountant?
No, sir. Basically, this is not. I don't think this is an example of like decision. I didn't give him any decision to be made. I mean, there is nothing like any execution of any decision.
Yes, I can understand your question actually. My point is that if you're hiring an accountant, he is basically responsible for the right management of the company's book of accounts. Okay.
So I think there is a thin line difference between responsibility and execution of decisions.
See, responsibility basically is like, for example, if you're an accountant, your responsibility to make all the transactions correctly. That is your responsibility. Okay. And whether you are doing it promptly, no problem at all. But if you commit some mistake, you are answerable for all those mistakes always.
Yes, sir. That's what I am telling, that the responsibility is something else and the execution of the decisions is something else.
Yes, definitely.
So, sir, I think the example you just gave is not like execution of decisions.
Sir, according to me, actually hierarchy is made for this only purpose, because frontline has done some mistake. So frontline has to be answerable for that middle line manager. Then middle line answerable for the management. So they will perform like this only.
Yes, definitely.
So frontline manager will not directly contact with this top line manager. They will only contact with the middle line manager. They will perform a hierarchies accordingly. Suppose middle line manager had done mistake, they will not answerable for the downline manager. He has to be reported to the front line like a top management.
No, so actually, Rahul's question is, because if someone is committing mistake, why the particular person would be responsible? Definitely he is responsible. That's the reason.
No, sir. Sorry, that was not my query.
Suppose I'm working as an accountant in an organization, sir. See, I'm just giving my example. So suppose I'm working as an accountant in my company. If I have done mistake, so I am answerable for my mistake. Then I will be answer to my, the reporting manager. To whom I reported.
Yes.
No, sir. What is my query? I think I am unable to explain my query. What was my query is, if there is any mistake committed by the decisions, okay? Committed by the decisions, and due to that decision the mistake is made.
Okay.
So, sir, who is answerable?
You are answerable, definitely.
Still,
The
I am
person
not
who is
clear.
committing mistake is answerable because you have some job
Yes, sir.
responsibility to do.
Yes, sir. Mistake is answerable. Also, I can understand that also. But, sir, if the cause of the mistake is the decision made by the top level management.
No. Listen. Try to understand. See, there is always basically a certain level of, we can say, instruction will be given by top management. Now, those instruction you need to understand first of all that the instruction, because see, top management is basically always thinking beyond the capacity of the lower level management because their vision, their point of view is very different. For example, you are working in a company definitely, and top management given some responsibility to you. Means you need to adhere the company norm to perform your duties. If you are actually performing those tasks in a way how top management has decided, definitely you are going in the right direction. But if you think that there's certain thing which is being instructed by the top management and you think that there should be some changes in that, you can actually guide them later on. Because of that, if something happen, then only top management is responsible. But whatever they have instructed to you, if it is ethically correct, it is morally correct, it is operationally correct, and if you are committing some mistake, you would be answerable for that.
If you want to say like in short terms, if you will not follow their policies and norms, if then I'll took a mistake, then I'm the only person who's the answerable for that my mistake.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, sir. I got it, sir.
So may I know that what is the difference between policy and the norms?
See, norms and norms are basically part of policy. Policy is a broader document. Okay, like for example, in a policy you have some leave policy. Now under leave policy, you have basically norms for your CL, SL, PL. That is
Okay.
norms.
All right.
Yes. Okay, guys, I think it's clear.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Perfect, guys. So I think tomorrow I'll start with one case study and we'll start with the evolution of management thought. This is the next topic we have to cover up now.